Let me put the geekers on to make sure. I think we're live. I think we are live. We are. Okay, good. Perfect. Sorry. You know, it goes like this every time. Let me just forward this to the groups and then we're ready to rock and roll. All right. I might need the geekers today. Let's see. All right. Sorry. Here we go. All right, so today we are talking about be the brand they brag about. Position yourself as their number one pick. And this is, I wonder if I can, hold on 1 second. Get this in geeker mode here. All right, you know, I always have some notes, so I just want to make sure I can see it without my geekers. Yeah. All right, so be the brand they talk about. This is one of the key things that you want to be able to do in business. You want to be the one. And I know that when you look out, you're like, oh my God, everybody's doing the same thing. You know, how on earth can I stand out? Well, you don't need to be the one, right? You don't need to be the very tippy top of the thing. You need to be the one in your circle. And I hope that that makes it a little bit easier for everybody to kind of get a grasp on. But if you're the one in this circle, then you're the one in this circle, then this circle, then this circle. And that's when your peers start looking at you as the one also. And that's kind of where you're going, but you have to start in a circle this big. So that could be, you know, a very small group. And that's why it's super possible for anyone, even if you have a smaller group, to be able to close clients, to be able to get the people that they want if they are doing the right things when they're supposed to be doing the right things all the time, right? So if they're doing the right content, if they're saying the right things, if they're putting out what they need to put out, and the message is getting across, they will eventually become that one in that little circle, and that'll start growing out. So don't scare yourself into thinking, oh my God, like, how am I going to compete with Gary Vee? That's not what I'm going for here, right? You just need to do it in your little circle. And when you look out at all of those people, I guarantee you, of the thousands and thousands and thousands you see, there are very, very, very few, if any, doing what you need to be doing to stand out in your area. So it looks daunting, but it's a lot easier than you think it is. So if your content is great, but your brand is forgettable, that's what we want to try to do, right? If you're not top of mind when your dream client is ready to buy. So what does that mean? Think about this. You know, I always talk about McDonald's. Love my Big Mac. Been trying not to eat it lately, but so McDonald's, you know, why on earth would they ever spend money on advertising? We all know who McDonald's is. It's because when it's time to eat, they want to make sure that they are top of mind. That's why they have the big golden arches. You know, everybody knows what the golden arches is. You don't even have to see, you know, an M or know it's McDonald's. You can say the golden arches and everybody equates it with McDonald's.
I need a super turbo charger.
Sorry about that. So anyway, so you want to make sure that you are the one that is unforgettable. Think about insurance, like State Farm or one of those. They're everywhere, right? And it's because when you need insurance or when you're fed up with what you have or you buy a new car or whatever it is, they want you to think about them at that very moment. And so that's why they're advertising everywhere. Same thing with your social media. So you get nervous if you're not getting a million, you know, likes and comments and engagement and all of that. It's not that important as long as the right people are seeing it. If the right people are seeing it, they're going to end up in your DMs. And that is what you need to keep in mind and focus on, not get all caught up in, you know, the vanity metrics. That's not nearly as important. So this episode is meant to show you how to position yourself as the go-to expert so that people can't help but recommend you without shouting louder or posting 24/7. That's the other thing. Obviously, if we can, we want to. We see Gary V's like post 80 times a day. Obviously, but he has 400 people working for him. You don't. So keep it in perspective. He who spends more on ads wins. It is what it is. He who has more time, more employees, you're going to be able to get out there more. That's just the way it is. So don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about what you're doing in your circle. And then you can eventually bring that out. Hope that makes that clear. All right. So why being good at what you do is not enough. It's not enough because all of these people are probably great at what they do, but nobody knows who they are. It's like that thing, like if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Like nobody knows because nobody's there when it falls. That's kind of the idea, but we know that it makes a sound. I don't know if that made any sense. Nor me. All right. So people don't buy based on your credentials either. So this is one of the things that's kind of, I want to say funny, but I don't mean it meanly. But when we first start coaching, right? We're like, oh, we need a website. We need business cards, if anybody uses those anymore. We need a website. We need a logo. We need business cards. We need, then people will go, oh, well, I need to get this certificate, a coaching certificate, this certificate. The reality is nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, I have a master's degree. I don't think I've ever even shown it to anybody. Nobody cares. Right? So if you want to get that certificate for you to feel that confidence that you need, go for it. If you think that you will learn something getting a certificate, go for it. But if you think that that certificate is going to get you clients, nobody cares. Honestly, people buy on clarity, connection, and confidence. And that is the confidence that you can get them to that other level. I always say, like, if this is A, this is where you're at. You want to be at B. They want to show you that they can move you from A to B, invisible to visible, to memorable to the go-to expert, right? That's what I want to do. I'm going to move you from here to here. All right. So you can be amazing, amazing, amazing at coaching. But again, if you are invisible online, I cannot get my thing to, if you're invisible online, nobody's going to know it, right? Nobody will know. So another McDonald's example, there are probably restaurants that have way better hamburgers at McDonald's, even fast food restaurants that have way better hamburgers than McDonald's. But we're not talking about those, right? Because the Big Mac is top of mind. The Big Mac is the one that we know, we like, and we trust. The Big Mac is the exact same experience every time we go there. We can count on them. We can rely on them. We know who they are. Does that make any sense? So whether you're amazing at coaching or not, if you're not showing up and showing people who you are, they're not going to be able to hire you because they don't know you're there. And I want you to think about this. So I might talk about this later. I can't remember, but if I would say it twice, zero stress. Marketing is all about repeating yourself. If you are invisible because maybe your message is too safe, too vague, too much like everybody else's, or you're not putting yourself out there, right? These are the things that are going to make you invisible. Then people just don't even know who you are. And your thing is, oh my God, I don't want to go out there and brag. I don't want to go out there and talk about myself all the time. I get that. It's uncomfortable. It's not, taking selfies. I mean, Like who, I never did that. So that it's not in our normal nature to do that. But what we need to keep in the back of our minds is this. It's not about us. None of this is about us. It's about helping someone else. And if you are not putting yourself out there, somebody else is. And you can look around you and say, ooh, I would never have said that. Ooh, I could do that way better. Oh my God, I wish I was the one helping them because they would be farther along by now, right? You can say that all day long to yourself, but unless they see you, unless they know you, they're not going to get your help. And it has happened to all of us, I'm sure, where somebody else hires somebody else that does the exact same thing you do because you are not putting yourself out there. All right, off the soapbox. Branding is about feeling people associate with you, about the feeling people associate with you, right? Remember, it's perception. It's how you make them feel. If you make them feel nice and warm and fuzzy, but they're not confident that you can take them to the next level, that doesn't count. That's not going to do you any good, right? There's nothing that you can do about that. So you need to make sure. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm going to have to go open this door. Excuse me, really quickly. I am so sorry about that. All right, here we go. So, branding is about the feeling that people associate with it. So you want them to be confident. You want them to feel the confidence in you that you are the person that can take them from A to B, that you're the person that can get them there. All right. I'm sorry. I've got a lot going on here. Okay, so if your brand statement isn't clear or compelling, your audience isn't thinking of you when they need help. Let me know in the comments. Does your brand pass the describe me in one sentence test? Like, can somebody describe you in one sentence? Can you describe yourself in one sentence, right? So just so you know, next week we are doing an experience that I like to call Conversations That Convert. It's a 5-day experience. I'd love to see you there. We're going to talk about how to sharpen your message so people immediately know you're the one to talk to. It's going to be a great thing. I hope you can hear me. It's very loud over here. I'm so sorry. All right. So the 3 pillars of magnetic brand positioning, and we have talked about this before, but I just want to go over it again. Perception. Perception is everything. What you say about yourself is one thing, but what they say about you is everything, right? Because even if you think it, even if you feel it, if they don't know it, if they're not saying it, it's not going to count. So, how do people introduce you when they refer to you? And if they're not doing it the way you want them to, it's not the end of the world, right? It's not the end of the world. You can change that if you start telling them, how you want them to refer. If you start putting yourself out there, I want people to know that I help you change those conversations into ones that convert or have conversations that convert, have more conversations that convert depending on where you are, right? So a lot of people are having conversations, but they're not converting. A lot of people don't even have enough conversations. A lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about. All right. So perception is everything. And then the promise. What results do you deliver? So I talk about A to B, right? From invisible to visible. People now understand who you are and what you're all about. That is very important. That is very important. That's one step of what I teach my clients. But if you can't show them that transformation, right? If you can't talk about the transformation, then it's not going to work. You have to be able to speak about that transformation. So what transformation do your clients actually get? What do they actually get? And then the last thing is proof. Why would they trust you? Do you have a method, right? I talk about my STAR method all of the time. That's the method that I use with my clients to get them from invisible to visible, from not having conversations to having conversations that convert, or having conversations but not that convert to having conversations that convert. So do you have a method? Do you have a story? Do you have some results that build trust? And showing up, just being consistent, that builds trust, right? So if someone is about to refer you, what do they actually say? Let's make sure that your positioning gives them something worth repeating. Conversations that convert, right? That's snappy. It's easy to repeat. That's right. What I say all of the time, it's what's everywhere. So you want to have something snappy that you can repeat that people understand, from invisible to visible. Easy, right? All right, so next week, and during the 5-day experience, we're going to dig into your client promise, because your conversations never, ever, ever convert if you don't know what you're promising. And I think that a lot of the times, back to the beginning of, feeling like you need the website and the certificates, we have all of the experience that we need. Most of my clients are around my age, so we've got a couple years worth of experience behind us. And the thing is that if you move to a new position, it doesn't like get rid of all of your past experiences, but for some reason we feel like it, right? We feel like we're, oh my God, like a newbie, or like we're new. You're not a newbie. You've been doing this for 20 years, right? So even if you've been in business for 5 or 10 years, a lot of the times you're pivoting, or changing all the time. You have to stay with one thing and be very, very consistent, and over and over and over and over and over, until you're like so bored and every single person you know is repeating your same phrases. That's when you can start expanding. That's when you can move on, or something like that. So we're going to go over the edge statement training next week as well. We did this in one of our last challenges, so we'll do it briefly in this one. But there's 4 different steps, EDGE, that you want to go through, and you just want to make sure that people know who you are, know what you represent. You want to know who your dream client is, and that means somebody that you could work with, and within a very short period of time, you're already getting them transformations, right? Some of your clients will be dream clients on the bottom of the spectrum, and it'll take them a while to get there. And that's okay too, right? But we want to talk about that one that's up here. The one that's up here, that you just tell them a couple of things and they follow exactly what you say, and now they're getting all those transformations. Those are the people that we want to focus on, because these people obviously will follow suit. So you want to be able to talk about who that person is, right? Without saying it, And how do you do that? You do it through the stories you tell, the scenarios that you talk about, right? You want to be able to give a specific result. So we want to be visible, not because we want to be famous. I mean, I'm not even gonna say almost nobody. Nobody I know wants to be famous. That is not the goal here. Nobody wants to be like an influencer. No, that is not the goal of being visible. The goal of being visible is being visible to the people that need to know, the people that need your help, your services, and all of that. And then, of course, you can expand out so that you're visible to more and more people. But that's the result that we want. Why? Because we want to be able to help them. And if you're not visible, you can't help them. If you're not clear, if you're not confident, you can't help them. If they are not clear and confident, they're not going to hire you to help them. All of that is very, very, very important. And so that's what I do in my business. But you also need to I help you do that in your business, whether it's you're talking to, college kids who, are going for their first job, or you're speaking to parents about their children. They need to be very clear in what you're going to do with them during your time. Where do you take them from to? All right. And we always need to talk about what evokes that emotion and energy that gets them to stop and gets them to say yes. And that is calling out to them without calling out to them. We can do that a lot through the stories and the emotions that we tell. All right. So if you have a brand statement that's feeling a little bland, drop it in the comments and let's do it together. I will do a live edge kind of glow up right here, and I'll put it in the comments. I'll do like a either I'll type it up or I'll do like a little video and talk about it, and I will drop it in there for you. So drop it down below if you have it. I'd love to do that, a brand statement. All right. What else? Let's see. Position like a pro. So that was our last experience that we did, and we're going to touch on that a little bit in this next one. So you need to make sure that you're positioning yourself like a pro. So what does that include? Your bio. Do people get what you do in one line? Be specific. Don't be cutesy. I am cheesier than all cheesy, and you will hear me be cheesy all the time. However, that is not the place to be cheesy, right? You have to snap it out. It needs to be quick and easy, repeatable. It needs to be something that they understand right off the bat. What results do they get? Who is it for? Oh, that's for me, and I want that. That's what that bio needs to do. Your banner, you want to maybe put a freebie in your banner or some sort of next step. It could be your group. If you have a group, are you showing it? Is it clear? Is it visible? Is your face in there smiling, visible? People love to see smiling faces, and they want to see your face head on, not like this, not, your whole body in a thing that's this big so they can't see anything. They want to be able to see you, your eyes, right? So smiling eyes are way better. They like to see smiles, showing teeth, always. Pin posts and highlights. Are you showcasing your best work, or maybe your top messaging things that you want to do? What are you highlighting? What are you pinning on your in your, what are your featured things in LinkedIn? All of that type of stuff. And then content, does your vibe match your value? Does your vibe match your value? So your vibe is your energy, right? But it's also what you have to offer them, what you're putting out there. All right. Let's do another audit. What about your presence? If you drop the word BAM, B-A-M, I have a little like a little audit I call BAM that I'll do. If you drop BAM, I will do a quick audit to check for your bio, your clarity and connection. I'll check that out if you drop BAM under this video, and I'll do it live on here. If you want it privately, just DM it to me. I get it. I get it. All right. So 5-day experience, we're also going to talk about that. You want to feel proud of how you're showing up online, right? So if you want to come next week, just drop convo underneath this, CONVO, and I will make sure that you get in on that. All right, create a brand worth bragging about. Your brand should be referable and repeatable. Conversations that convert. Repeat it with me. All right, create some sort of signature vibe. If you look at everything I do, it's like the hot pink, the hot yellow, and the blue. Everybody's like, do not use those colors together. I'm like, why not? They're loud like me. I like it. So I use it. But I know if you're a graphics artist person, you're like, ah. I get that. You can tell the ones that I do myself and my artists or the graphic people do for me. I like all the colors in the box. Anyway, you want to create some sort of signature vibe. So when people see you, when people hear you, they know it's you. That is also having to do with your content, with your results, with phrases that you use, right? You want to create something like that. Invisible to visible. I have a lot of them, but Anyway, you want to have repeatable statements. So when your clients finally know what to say about you, and it takes time, you have to do it over and over and over, but not years. I mean, it can take months, right? Once they know what to say about you, you don't have to say it about you as much, right? Because they will take over. That will start happening, believe it or not. Um, all right, so here is the challenge here. Can somebody brag about you without you in the room? And if not, it's a positioning problem. And it's okay. Don't worry about it. You're going to learn how to do it, but you want to start doing it right now. You don't want to wait until way later. All right. Oh, if you want the Edge document, drop Edge down below and I will give you its position like a pro Edge statement. It's awesome. You will love it. It's kind of an alternative to the help statement. And drop Convo if you want conversations that convert experience. If you want in on that, we'd love to see you there. Let's see, do I have anything else here to say? Oh, just I want to end with you don't need to shout louder or post more. You need positioning, positioning that sticks. So when your message is magnetic and your brand is bold, and it doesn't mean it has to be loud like mine, it doesn't mean that. It means you say what you mean and you're not shy about it, right? You put yourself out there. You don't chase clients, you attract conversations that convert. All right. Thank you. Sorry, today was a little bit nutty and crazy over here, but I appreciate you showing up for yourself and for me. Cannot wait to see you shine. I will see you on the next one. If you want the worksheet, drop Edge. And if you want an audit, drop BAM. And if you want to be on the experience next week, drop Convo.